Rick, something Pascal was telling us in practice earlier this week was that Jarace Walker's come up to him in game a few times, even when he was out, to ask him for instruction or thoughts on something. When it comes to him asking for help or advice within a game, how have you seen him grow in seeking out what is needed of him in those moments?
Yeah, Pascal's a guy that he looks up to. Pascal's taken a genuine interest in Jarace and his career development, evolution as a professional. Jarace has been through a lot of the ups and downs that come with being a young player in the NBA, from not playing to playing sometimes to then playing a lot and then having that elevated responsibility. And I believe what happens is, in a lot of cases, you gain an element of humility going through all those things. And that shows through, with something that you're talking about, asking for help or asking for, input, during a game. It's great. It's great to hear. It's great to see.
Hi, Rick. We are from Slovenia. We are here for Luka. It's been
Zdravo.
Zdravo, Živia. We are here for Luka, so that's why this question. Is it any special for you to play against this guy? How special is this for you?
Oh boy, no, it's hell really, because he's impossible to game plan for. He's just, now he's leading the league in scoring. He still gets all the triple doubles. It's a winning team. I don't know if I've ever seen a player that controls an NBA game the way he does. Just, in every way possible. You can't speed him up. You can't slow him down. It's really an impossible task. You got to hope he misses some shots. And, if you think double teaming is the answer, it's not. What the stats will show you is that when you double team him, things get worse because everybody else gets going and there's wide open shots all over the place. So he's as difficult a player to game plan for, as I've ever seen.
Rick, there's been a kind of topic of discussion league-wide over the last month or so, especially with Adam punishing the Jazz for their actions in terms of not playing competitive basketball. I'm curious, for a team like yourself, you have some unfortunate injuries, and then it's kind of like the silver lining is what the lottery is, and maybe intended to help a team like your team has. Have you seen teams across the league maybe take advantage of that? And from your former role, being the head of the Coaches Association, do you think that could have negative?
Former is an important word to include in that.
Oh, you finished in December, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But just
JB Bickerstaff is doing it now and doing great, doing a phenomenal job, and is going to be great. Yeah.
But do you think that there's organizations that choose to go that direction, they could be having hurting the careers of coaches potentially?
It's a long question. I'm not sure I fully understand it. Hurting their careers of coaches, how?
So I would think as a coach, it's all about wins and losses, right? And learning the league and staking your reputation based on being able to win games. And if you're a young coach coming into an organization that their plan is not to win for an extended amount of time to take advantage of a lottery system, I think that could hurt a coach's trajectory.
Well, it hasn't hurt Mark Daignault. And I think the bottom line with all of it is we all have very unique jobs. Our job is to manage our situation. And the situations of each team are very much in flux on a year-to-year basis. Injury adds, crazy elements of change. And so you've just got to manage it as best you can. I think Dagnall's a great example. He managed that situation, and they built their team through the lottery. And they built their team. They were at the bottom of the league with their record, or near the bottom of their league, and they've built their team through the draft. Not coincidentally, the Pistons have done the same thing. So you got the two best teams in the league, one in the East and one in the West, that have built their teams in much the same way. And I think Dagnall is a great example. Like he was a G League coach, but he built a relationship in that organization and a partnership. And if you build those relationships and you become a real partner, the wins and losses, and this is just my opinion, the wins and losses element of it isn't going to be that kind of a factor. To me, Will Hardy's going to be the coach at Utah for a long time. I think Jordi Fernandez is going to be the coach in Brooklyn for a long time. I can name others. It's so much of this is the relationships you build, the trust you build, and how you manage your situation.
If I could ask a follow, just then, in your opinion, do you see any tweaks that
He should only have one question, shouldn't he?
Do you see any tweaks that need to be made to the system, or do you think it's much ado about nothing and this is the way it's been and it can continue?
My opinion doesn't matter. From what I understand from Adam, there will be changes, and they'll be carefully considered. I mean, this was a huge topic of conversation. I was on the competition committee at the end of David Stern's run as commissioner, and Adam wanted to keep me on at the beginning of his. And this was a hearty topic of conversation. And through it all, at that particular point in time, it was determined that the lottery was the best way to continue forward. Now there have been adjustments with the odds and so forth, and I don't know exactly what the adjustments were. But we're in a league that is constantly evolving. Like, take this conversation out of it. You look at NBA offense and defense. I mean, it's evolving not by the year. It's evolving by the month and the week. I mean, there's constant change. And so there must be adjustment if adjustment is needed. And, I place every bit of trust I have in Adam Silver. I mean, this man has proven to be the ultimate leader. He really has. He has really smart people around him. They carefully consider everything. They never react. They always think through things. And I've been a part of that as part of the competition committee for a pretty long period of time. So, look, one of the other topics over the years was the idea of the in-season tournament. And early on, it was everybody was very dismissive of it. This is how's this ever gonna work? Well, now, I mean, how did we not do this a long time ago? So, there's always a lot going on. But if you ever think that in any industry we just get to the place where we're supposed to get and that's it, that's not how it works.
I guess I'm going to try. Probably change direction here. I mean, I guess
I'm trying to run this thing done here.
I'll make this quick. I guess, is there anything regarding to that topic that you feel like is important to?
We're done. No, we're done with this topic.
We're done with this topic?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, then I'll totally.
I don't know if I can answer it any more. Any more detail than that.
It was really good. I'm not saying it's not. I was wondering if there's anything that you think is important to protect. I mean, you're a smart guy, obviously, but is there anything that you feel like is important to that's necessary to protect in terms of the current system that sort of has to stay?
All those things will be carefully considered. My job right now is not to think about what changes need to be made. My job is to manage the health of our team, the play of our team, the competitive spirit of our team, and we have 20 games left. And as difficult as this year has been, with the losses, and we have not been good. It's been very enjoyable because of the different ways you build relationships, and not just relationships with the players, but with the staff, the organization. You become much more keenly aware of the needs of everybody that you're working with. And so, I've approached this season, even with all the difficulty that's come with it, with the approach of, finding the positives and building, because what you find in life, you go on in this long enough, is that you don't grow without going through difficulty. It's just a fact. Is that it?
Non-lottery question.
Okay.
Just for some perspective, when you were coaching Luka in Dallas, how did you see things evolve with how he managed emotions and his competitiveness through the course of a game?
He's a fiery competitor. I don't see that changing. But look, he's great. He's one of the great. He's the greatest. He's the greatest player I've ever coached. I mean, just in terms of his sheer ability, he'll be an MVP. And listen, I got to be careful. I coached Dirk Nowitzki, who's in the Hall of Fame, who's 7th on this all-time scoring list, who, we won a championship together, But Luka's just, he's the extra special of the most extra special, just in terms of everything he can do on the basketball floor. And he has amazing charisma too. And, you show me a great player that isn't stubborn and doesn't get pissed off at things, and I'll show you guys it's not a great player. That's just the way it is.